So for me to be in a dark room, isolated from everybody, from reading, from watching movies, from being on my phone to anything it felt very dark. I guess that's a good way of putting it. It was a very dark place. And on the second night of my trip, I fainted and I hit my head while I fainted. I hit my head on a corner of a marble slab. I remember the diagnosis being the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. I remember it feeling like my world just stopped. I had a lot of symptoms. I had the throbbing headache. I had light and noise sensitivity. I was very lightheaded and dizzy. I would see spots all the time. My vision was blurred. My ears were always ringing. They said there wasn't much that they could do and it was a time issue. So I guess as soon as I started doing the monthly and there wasn't any progress, they said that I should continue doing bed rest until I feel better. I've seen so many doctors. I've seen a lot of family physicians. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 different neurologists, multiple sports medical doctors. And the overall consensus from all of them, over the past 6 years, has always been bed rest and resting your body. The strict bed rest, I would say, was the worst thing that could have happened. It was very difficult in a sense of being in bed all day, and essentially all you can really do is eat and then go back into bed, and that's basically what I did for 6 to 8 months. I always found it so disappointing and I found it so difficult because even going through that whole bed rest and doing everything that was recommended, I would never feel better. I was convinced that this was something that I had to deal with for the rest of my life, and that was kind of an echo from a lot of the medical doctors that I had seen for so long, even with the different approaches. It was constantly, this is your condition, learn to deal with it. My treatment plan was very different from other doctors that I had seen previous to that. My recommendation was to go on an anti-inflammatory diet, a very strict one. Apart from that, it was to do visits, to do a combination of his chiropractic and acupuncture method. And in addition to that, it was to start including exercise in my daily routine. And that's when he focused a lot on my visuals as well as my neck. Those were the 2 very concerning symptoms that were persistent throughout the 6 years, sometimes more than other times. It was the first time in 6 years where I had absolutely no symptoms. And for me, as somebody who wasn't expecting that, I just sat in my car and I just remember sobbing, and it was just tears of joy. It felt like a miracle. It felt like something that I had never thought that I would live a life with no pain. I had almost forgotten what it was like to live a life with no pain. In hindsight, I've spent 11 months or so in bed in the past 6 years, and it did not really do me any good. I would recommend to anybody who has a concussion or post-concussion syndrome to seek different options. For me, this method worked, and I would think that it could do a lot of other people good as well.